Hello, my friends. I just pressed the go live button and I am so grateful to have you here. Have you been missing court this week? We've had only one day on Tuesday and I've definitely missed some of the action. Today, we're going to dive into the Alberts family and we're going to notice what their micro expressions, what their faces, what their nonverbal cues are telling us. So if you notice anything, please make a comment. Let me know what you see as far as patterns, communication, and what do you think about this family? So we're not here, I'm not here, especially to judge or make factual information, give diagnosis, or anything like that. I am simply an observer who enjoys body language and especially as it relates to the subject being spoken at the time. So we're going to start with a compilation I've created on the Alberts. Let's get started. Make myself a little smaller here and tell me what you think if you see any patterns going on during this.
It's fair to say you never told them that Colin was there, that correct?
I don't recall my interview.
Easy, right? Just don't recall.
No, I guess not.
Your supporters.
He came by.
Did he donate money to your campaign?
I think he did.
You and Brian Higgins do.
I believe in one portion of it, I was fooling around with Brian Higgins. Fooling around.
So
Being silly, just fooling around. I think we were pushing each other, fooling around, joking. Can you rephrase that?
You would agree with
And is that a question?
it was a question. I guess let me withdraw.
What's the question? Right. So, right. What's your question? Rephrase your question, please. He's not asked that, and I didn't tell him that.
So you felt like if you weren't asked that, you didn't need to volunteer it, even though the conference call was specifically about preserving your phone pursuant to a judge's order. Correct?
What was the question?
Don't know the exact count.
You deny that you spoke 67 times?
I don't deny it, but I don't recall the exact amount of times.
Recognize it.
Can you repeat that once more, please? I didn't know the exact really amount of time. She was there a lot. Yes, she was. So yes, I would assume that she spent a lot of time with them. Yes.
67 times?
Objection. Would I quarrel with it? No, I guess not. I mean,
Each other growing up, correct?
We were siblings, so
Of course.
yes.
And you still hang out with each other quite often, correct?
Like all of us,
In various combinations?
we have different relationships with my siblings.
Sure. But you see some more than others, but you hang out with your family, you not?
Yeah, mostly during holidays,
And you go out for drinks together, correct?
occasionally,
And you're protective of each other, correct?
like most families.
And if
And what do you mean? What do you mean familiar? Would I quarrel with it? No, I guess not.
Real quick, let me just pause here. He says he's not going to quarrel with anything, but he quarrels with the stupidest things. Like, do you hang out with your family? Yeah, like most families. Like everything is a hassle, a battle to get an answer out of this guy. So this is why, like, I did spend some time focusing on this specific Albert, Chris Albert, his Brian Albert, and even the ladies, because to be honest, in the beginning, I didn't have like much of an impression from the ladies, Nicole and Julie, after they testified. I was like, oh, they were fine, whatever. Doesn't really ring a bell of anything major they have said. But after I worked on this video and did the body language, sometimes pausing, sometimes doing slow motion, I noticed a lot. And this family does have an attitude. Like they're feisty. I don't know if that's only because of the harassment they have received, which we're not here to do, or if that's just the way they are. So at times I do lack a little bit of the compassion, especially when it comes to Brian Albert. And we're going to see why. So let's continue here on this compilation.
I never answered them. She may have placed a phone call to me. I never answered it. I never spoke to her
Where's
that
the
morning.
faces, rolling
Go ahead
the
and answer
eyes.
that. It says that, but I never answered a phone call from my sister Jennifer that morning. I never spoke to my sister on the phone that morning.
All right, sustained. And you got more for this witness, I imagine, Ms. Little?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so we'll take a luncheon recess. Ms. Little?
So mad.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so we'll take the luncheon recess. All right, sustained. And you've got more for this witness, I imagine, Ms. Little?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so we'll take the luncheon recess, folks.
Would I quarrel with it?
Yes.
No, I guess not. I mean, exactly.
So you have a refrigerator there that you can keep drinks cold, correct?
Among other things.
Glass
Among other
that you came
things.
in with that appeared to have clear liquid in it, correct?
Correct.
And I believe you said either a lime or a lemon.
I said a line, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, at what time are you asking me? In what aspect? In as far as police, as far as being a witness as a police officer?
So you understand the oath.
Yes.
You understand the gravity of perjury.
Yes.
When was the last time you spoke to Mr. Lally before Friday when you began testifying?
Before Friday, the last time I spoke to Mr. Lally was, I believe, on a conference call around the time of my grand jury testimony.
Which would have been 2022?
Yes, approximately a few weeks ago.
Okay. Mr. Albert,
Yes.
April of 2022.
Yes.
You have not spoken with Mr. Lally since that time.
I don't remember speaking with Mr. Lally since that time. No.
What about anybody else from the district attorney's office?
No.
Have you gone over the facts, or what you believe to be the facts of your testimony with anybody before you testified on Friday, not including any lawyer that you may have?
No.
Did you discuss any questions that you may be asked on direct examination, or questions that you may be posed on cross-examination with any member of the district attorney's office?
No.
Were you told about any exhibits or documents that you might be shown? And that was back in April of 2022?
No, that was for the prep for this, except for the prep for this trial. I had not. Expecting you to ask me if I had prep with Mr. Lally. I didn't hear prep with Mr. Lally, so I didn't know what you were referring to.
So when I said spoke with Mr. Lally, since I didn't say prep with Mr. Lally, your answer was no, I didn't speak with him. I just prepped with him.
Yes. Fooling around.
So
Being silly, just fooling around.
morning of the 29th to Michael Lane, about 7 a.m., is that right?
Officer Link was in the house at that time and speaking to all of us.
Did you see that as a problem?
In what way?
Conflict?
In what way?
Conflict of interest?
No.
This is a perfect example why I lost a little bit of the compassion when it comes to analyzing his body language, because at times he passes like a sense of arrogance. Like, in what way? He in my opinion, he seems to be pretending to be dumb. He's not dumb. And he has testified many times. He's like Mr. Professional Witness on the stand. Good morning, jurors. Good morning, judge. Good morning, Mr. Lally. Like, he's Mr. Professional testifying. But when it comes to the simplest questions, he has to make a whole word salad and not make any sense out of it.
You're aware that Brian Higgins is also down with this film, correct?
I am not aware of that until after the time you're talking about.
So, in your initial reports to the police, his name was never mentioned, was it?
I did not mention it, no.
And Nicole did not. Jim McCabe knew you were in her house during that interview, correct?
I assume she knew, yeah. I don't believe that's how it was asked, no.
Hours before you were ordered to preserve it. That's your testimony, correct?
Yes.
You were suffering at that point.
Suffering? I had a headache.
Well, yeah, the migraine headache. I would
Yeah,
imagine.
it was a headache, but I took medicine and I was waiting for it to get
Did
better.
it kick in?
Yes.
Okay. And that's sort of what you were concentrating on. It's really kind of hard to read or watch TV or concentrate on anything when you have a migraine, right?
Okay. Yes.
Attitude.
Objection, Your Honor.
You can go ahead. Can you answer?
So as to that form, I'm going to sustain the objection. You can ask the question a different way, Ms. Little.
Ms. Albert, you had blankets inside of your house that could have helped someone who's freezing outside.
Objection.
So I'm going to sustain the objection. You can ask a shorter form of that question.
Ms. Albert, you had blankets in the house, correct?
Yes.
You were also lying next to a first responder
Objection.
at work, correct?
You can answer that.
Yes. We did not go outside because we had no idea what was going on outside. We were sound asleep until my sister came into my bedroom.
Okay, and then after she came into your bedroom and woke you up and said something happened with John, did you go outside?
No further questions.
Okay. Stilali?
She's so mad. Look at her face, shaking her head. Why are you so mad? Tell us. Looks at the jury. Like, oh, that didn't go well. What are you thinking? We don't know.
You've been drinking since about what time in the evening?
Here's this guy.
9-ish?
That's when you went to the hillside?
Yes.
That's when you had your first drink?
Yes.
You continued drinking throughout the evening consistently?
Yes.
Did you believe you were okay to drive?
Yes.
Oh yeah, because if it was me or you, we would have gotten arrested. But because he is Mr. Brian Albert, he's fine to drive, guys. The law does not apply to Mr. Brian Albert.
I quarrel with it? Like the character?
Correct?
The character, yes.
He was the get off my lawn guy, correct?
In the movie, yeah.
What was your nickname and your wife Julie's nickname for John Okeefe?
Mr. Nevercracker.
Right?
No, I don't think that's what I said. I don't remember having that conversation with Brian Higgins. Correct that that's what you read. I don't know the timing of when they asked when those conversations were. We may have, I can't remember that conversation specifically. Yes, although I don't know the context of the time that they were asking that question.
June 2020?
No, not the day of the hearing, but when they were asking if and when that conversation took place.
Does it matter? What do you think it was?
I think so, yes. I don't think I talked to Brian Higgins about getting rid of my phones.
Well, you just said. You can't rule out the fact that you had conversations with Brian Higgins about your phones and possibly getting rid of your phones. Right?
No, I don't think that's what I said. I don't remember having that conversation with Brian Higgins at all. We may have, I'm not sure of the context of that.
You and Brian Higgins have a conversation about your phones.
I don't remember having that conversation with Brian Higgins. I'm not sure. I agree with that question.
Would you consider that to be a professional relationship?
With them two, yes.
And your brother Brian Albert attended Chief Berkowitz's retirement party, did he not?
I have no idea.
But your brother Brian is also a friend of Kenny Berkowitz, is he not?
He may be, not sure.
You're tight with him.
I don't know if I call it tight.
He's not an enemy of yours, is he?
Oh, God.
No, he's a friend of yours, correct?
Sure.
Was that that hard?
Yes. Yeah.
That's not true. So it's allowed.
Okay. Yes.
It's not okay. Yes or no?
Yes.
It's fair
And
to say you
that's
never told him that
it
Colin was
with
there,
this
correct?
little compilation. I have to tell you that after doing all the compilations and separating the videos, putting them together, I had a feeling like I was tired. I felt like I was being manipulated. Like, I'm going to read the definition of word salad, which is something that sometimes people with certain personalities do. Word salad. Word salad is a confused or unintelligible mixture of seemingly random words or phrases, and after they may appear to be random and unrelated, but they come out in an incoherent sequence. So, for example, when Brian Albert is being questioned, he has quick responses for everything, but it doesn't even make sense. He will say something like, no, I never spoke to Mr. Lawley. I haven't spoken to Mr. Lawley since 2022, except for when I prepped for this trial, which was a few weeks ago. But since you didn't say prep, you said spoke. I didn't. What? Like, he made me feel like I was crazy at the end of this. So we're not going to ramble on. We're just going to get started. We have a lot to go over. First of all, let's look at the McAlberts. Let's look at them, because after a while I was confused to who was who. So hopefully we can, just remind ourselves. So we have here Chris Albert with his wife Julie, and they have Colin Albert as their son. Next to them we have Nicole Albert and Brian Albert, who have Brian Albert Jr. and Caitlin Albert. So the first person we're going to start with is Chris Albert, the one that has a pizza shop. He is Brian Albert's brother, and we're going to see this. Let me just read this real quick, because here it tells me about his testimony. So he testified that he didn't see any injuries on his son, Colin, when Colin got home. And then his wife was the one that told him that something had happened to Mr. John Okeefe. Now, one thing that really intrigues me when he was testifying was when they asked him, like, so you, Jen McCabe called his wife. His wife was on the phone. He could hear it. She was screaming that something had happened. And you know what he said? He said, "You're going to wake up the neighbors." Really? That's what you're thinking about? If somebody's screaming, saying something happened to someone you know, you're going to get up. You're going to be like, what can we do? I'm driving there right now. Is there something I can do? You're not going to be like, hey, you're going to wake up the neighbors. It's very just odd how they react sometimes. Then we're going to go over when he is being questioned about knowing what is his name? Kenneth, and he says, I know Kenny. We're going to go over this video real quick and see how his face reacts to that question. So let me just cue the video right here and go.
Have you been out with him in a group setting?
That event that I just mentioned, yeah.
And what event was that?
It was my campaign event when I was running for select board.
He was one of your supporters.
He came by.
Did he donate money to your campaign?
I think he did.
May we approach her?
Yes.
And I'm going to go back now a little bit slower, but before we go back to the video,
It
we're
was
going to
my
watch what I have noticed as far as his body language here. So back to the slide. He's going to show us a furrowed eyebrow, furrowed forehead with eyebrows raised. He's going to look down afterwards. He's going to take a big swallow afterwards, after he, gets over the subject. So what does a furrowed forehead mean? A furrowed forehead is an easy way to assess for discomfort or anxiety. When we are happy or content, you hardly see this behavior. Eye blocking, a person's voice may crack or seem inconsistent during deceptive speech. This is the swallowing he does after. Swallowing becomes difficult as the throat becomes dry from stress. So look for hard swallows. So right now we have anxiety and swallow, and all blocking behaviors are indicative of concern, dislike, disagreement, or perception Coca says it's Ronald McDonald face. So we're gonna go back to the video now and just do that one more time a little bit slower to see if we can pick up these little cues. So I'm gonna make it normal. Let's go.
Campaign event when I was running for select board.
He was one of your
He was
supporters.
running for safety.
He came by.
He came by, but I don't know if you get this, but I get a little bit of anger out of Chris. I don't know if I'm just like reading way too much into it, but he is like looking convincing here. He's just looking at the attorney. He came by, okay,
Donate
fine.
money to your campaign?
Now thinking
I think
face,
he did.
but really, it's a thinking face with the eyebrows raised, the forehead furrow, and the closed eyes right away, the lips pursed right away, because you know he did. You know he donated money to your campaign, and to pretend like it's oh, maybe he did. Wait, let me think about it. You know it, so it's just inappropriate. I would much rather watch these witnesses being truthful. Like, yes, he did donate. It's a small, it's a small town. Everybody knows each other. He did donate to my campaign. That doesn't incriminate you, but the fact that they are so evasive really does kind of bother me a little bit. And he's gonna do a big swallow and look down
Maybe
at.
approach judge.
Yes.
Kind of like I got away with that. See, he breaks character. He was like looking at the attorney straight faced, and then as soon as the occasion is done, the attorney says, something to the judge. He's like, and then looks down to avoid eye contact, which is never a good thing, when it comes to body language. Next, let's go back to the next slide. Have to be careful with these because sometimes they go so fast. And let me see. This is where okay, let me go to the video first so that first we can see what video this is related to. Sorry guys, I'm doing live for the first time, and sometimes it's gonna be it's gonna take a second to get to the right video, but I have everything written down, so hopefully it won't be that long.
Your photo down, please.
It's 30.
Your
Okay.
functions as a selectman is to
You guys have it? Okay, great. Let's go.
oversee public safety in the town?
Yes.
And you would agree that the police department is a key component of public safety in the town of Canton?
Yes.
So part of your duties as a town selectman is to oversee the Canton Police Department, correct?
Objection, Your Honor.
Let him have it. Is that one of your duties, sir?
I believe so. I'm new at that. I'm recently elected, so I'm just going through it. But yeah, I believe so.
And you became a town selectman shortly after Kenny Berkowitz retired, correct?
I'm not sure when Kenny retired.
But you would agree with me that Kenny Berkowitz has both personal and professional relationships with you and members of your family, correct?
Can you rephrase that?
You would agree with me that the former Canton Police Chief, Kenny Berkowitz, has both personal and professional relationships with you and members of your family?
Objection, Your Honor. It's the same question.
Go ahead and answer that question.
I'm not sure. I agree with that question.
Well,
Okay, so let's pause, go back to the slide and see what are we watching for here. I'm gonna take myself out so we can read the whole thing. Here we're going to see some micro expressions from Chris. He's going to look, first he's gonna start sitting down, like kind of leaning on the side, looking comfortable. Then when he talks about public safety being one of his responsibilities, he's going to like scratch his head, scratch the top of his eye, which could be just like a sign of anxiety, pacifying. Whenever we want to change, to soothe ourselves, our brain just automatically does something to like pacify ourselves and doesn't mean anything alone. What we look for are things together, right? Then he does lip compression, a little bit of the nose flaring. And then he has all these faces, the three last faces here, which are very, this face in the middle, he has a big lip compression. And when we press our lips together, it is as if the limbic brain is telling us to shut down and not allow anything into our bodies, because at this moment we're consumed with serious issues. So why is it that knowing Kenny is something that brings this type of body language to Chris' face? So I'm going to go back and see it in a little bit slower so that we can pick up these cues. Remember, he starts sitting very normal.
One of your functions as a selectman is to oversee public safety in the town?
Yes.
And you would agree that the police department is a key component of public safety in the town of Canton?
Okay, now at 1:45, I got to make a little bit slower.
Yes.
Touches his forehead.
So part of your duties as a town selectman is to
Looks a little
oversee
confused, lip
the Canton
compression,
Police Department, correct?
stress.
Objection, Your Honor.
There's a little tongue
I'll
jut.
let him have it. Is that one of your duties,
So
sir?
the lips disappearing, the lips going down, sign of displeasure, the tongue jut, kind of getting away with something or making a mistake. Then he's gonna look down. The chin is gonna go forward, kind of like an
I
angry
believe
face.
so. I'm new at that. I'm recently elected, so I'm just going through it. But yeah, I believe so.
All right.
Um,
I'll just see.
And
Looks down,
you
now the chin
became
forward.
a town selectman shortly after Kenny Berkowitz retired, correct?
I'm not sure when Kenny retired.
But you would agree with me that
So a sense of confusion, like, right? These people don't know what's happening. They don't know who Kenny is. They don't know what's going on. It's just a overwhelming feeling of evasiveness that we get from them. So the next video we're going to watch is going to give us all of these beautiful faces. I mean, he does give me like type of an angry vibe, you know. And at one point, I did kind of feel for him because he was talking about giving Mr. John Okeefe, giving him the Nethercracker nickname, and he was kind of like, it looked like he was being sincere, you know, like it was just a joke, and he smiles. And I was like, oh, that was nice. You know, why can't we get more of that? Because that would be more likable, more believable. Now, the whole, you know, would I quarrel with that and quarreling with everything is not really that believable. So let me see what the other video is. It's actually here. Supposedly, I am looking for him looking at Lally and squinting his eyes right here.
Yes.
so part of your duties as a town selectman is to oversee the
Right
Canton Police
now,
Department, correct?
Objection, Your Honor.
I'll let him have it. Is that one of your duties, sir?
Looks at
I
Lally
believe
first.
so. I'm new at that. I'm recently elected, so I'm just going through it. But yeah, I believe so.
And you became
So he does a lot with his face. And we're also watching him for his baseline. Baseline is how people normally react, how people normally act, right? And everybody's different. Everybody has individual, unique characteristics and mannerisms. So nothing that we say here is for sure. It's just an observation of the clusters. Everything together, along with what they're talking about. What do you guys think, right? So here I'm going to pick up where he's being questioned about somebody being friends, and it just takes a while for him to admit a simple thing. Yeah, they're friends. Just admit they're friends. It doesn't have to be this hard. So let's see how long it takes for him to say that.
Maybe twice in my life.
you knew that Brian Albert, your brother, and Brian Higgins
Brian
were
Albert and Higgins.
friends, correct?
I knew they knew each other.
So are you saying that they were acquaintances?
No, I guess they're friends.
You guess they're friends?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're friends.
Was there something confusing about
And Yanetti's like, oh, I'm going to probe on this. Was there something confusing, sir? Yanetti, relax, calm down. Okay, we're going to have a lot of moments from you. We don't need all that right now. So it's just so hard to get to one little answer, which is just like, yeah, they're friends. Just say that in the beginning because it looks weird when you're so evasive. Now we're going to this video, 151:45.
Correct.
But before we get
and where would you
here,
have done that within
In
your
my bedroom.
before we get here,
And is this a town
let
house?
me cue this slide because I do believe this next slide is going to be interesting to you guys. So the one that we just went over, okay? Yeah, I guess they're friends. He does the eye blocking, which is a very powerful display of consternation, disbelief, or disagreement. And I think he's just in a constant he's just in a constant mood of disagreement. He disagrees with everything. It's just the way that they speak. And also, Brian Albert, I think Brian Albert is his brother, is also very quick to disagree with everything. It's just like, even, was it a lemon or a lime? It was a, I said lime or whatever he said. Like little things that don't need to be disagreed with. Okay. So here, it's also, this is from the book, What Everybody's Saying. Eye blocking is a nonverbal behavior that can occur when we feel threatened. So of course he's feeling threatened because the attorney is probing on something that he's not comfortable with. Then we're gonna get to this slide eventually, which is one of my favorites. Okay, there's a lot here, guys. So please take a second and let's go over the slide because I do believe it's a work of art. So Chris Albert, he gets home apparently during his testimony and his wife's testimony after working all day at a pizza shop, getting pizzas out of the oven, which by the way reminds me, I would love to eat a pizza right now. Not his pizza though, because ew. So he gets the pizzas out of the oven all day. He goes to the bar. He walks in the snow and he's wet. He gets home, takes his dirty, wet clothes, throws them on the floor, and gets into bed. No. Oh, sorry. No, 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 no. Sir, take a shower, sir. Brush your teeth, sir. You're not a child anymore. You don't need people to tell you this. So I have here on top with the red arrow, got some pizzas, got some stinky stuff coming out. I got him saying with an air of confusion when he says we don't wash up. He didn't say we don't wash up, but it's just something he's going to do during this period. That's where I would wash up and brush my teeth if I had done that. Then here in the middle, I have one of my favorite faces from him asking his wife, do you want to fool around? It's just like, I have a headache. And then she has a chewing gum because guess what, guys? Of course, she was chewing gum on the witness stand. Why not, right? They're the Alberts. Why not? And then here on top is just what I just said. You know, I went up to the bedroom, took my wet clothes off from the pizza place all day and jumped into bed. Ew. Ew, ew, ew. Who would allow that? Like in your bed, you know, the sheets are gonna get gross. Just don't. Okay, moving along after that little incident that they describe, and they said it in national television. Everybody knows he doesn't shower now. Okay, I have to move on from this. I have to get over the fact that he didn't shower. He didn't shower. It's fine, Bianca. He didn't shower. Okay, it's not your house. It's not your bed. It's fine. Next, we're gonna go over the time where he is going to be very uncomfortable when talking about calling Albert for some reason. I don't know what it is, but when the attorney says your son calling Albert was not home when you came, words. Calling Albert was not home when you came home. So he's gonna say, not when I first got home, and that's his first picture there. Okay, fine. I don't see anything really. I just see a little bit of the lips going up, but not really anything major here. On the middle slide, on the middle picture, he says, obviously it was a little bit longer. Then his nose does all of these things. Like his nose like goes to the side, like he does all these things. I don't know what's going on. Then he's gonna say, because the attorney is gonna say, because you actually woke up when he opened the bedroom door, correct? And he grabs his ear, which is itchy ear is a visceral sign of stress. What does that mean, visceral, Bianca? Well, visceral is when our lizard brain, like our limbic system, what we cannot control, what we cannot pretend, what we cannot like fake, does something that we have no control over. So the subconscious mind does that to like pacify, to relieve stress, just touch something. And we don't really notice that we're doing that because we do have a little bit of the lizard brain in us. So here he's going to say, obviously, it was a little bit longer. In the middle picture, he's going to just sniff, pacifying, hesitant. That's so funny. Wait, did you ask me that, Coco, or did I just say that and then you asked me that? That's hilarious. Anyway, so obviously it was a little bit longer. He's going to sniff, which is another sign of pacifying himself, being hesitant. Okay. So then didn't you just testify in front of this jury that your son Colin woke you up? So that's another inconsistency, because first he says he woke him up, and then he's gonna say they got there at the same time at 12:10. All of a sudden, everybody's magically home at 12:10, and then so he had taken a nap. But how long was that nap? Because I thought you got home at 12:10, and Colin got home at like 12:10. So very confusion so far. Everything is confusion. So let's see what we're going to go over now. Oh yeah, this video of the stinky. I don't think we went through this video yet. So let's go through this one. Let me just cue it up here. Okay, I believe this is the one. Let's go.
Is it a freestanding residence?
It's a condominium.
Condominium? How many floors?
Itches.
There's 3 floors.
Must be the
And you got the
shower.
floor?
Correct.
And the entrance is ground level?
Left thereof.
When you first entered the home in those wet clothes, where was your wife, Julie?
Upstairs in the bedroom.
And was she already washed up and ready for bed?
I think she was lying in bed.
And where did you go when you walked in the ground level?
I went up to the bedroom.
So the itching that he does could be a pacifier, right? His body's stressed, so the brain automatically does something to pacify his body. Or it could be because he lacks taking showers, so he gets itchy a lot. So I don't know what the answer is here.
All right.
Took off my clothes, jumped in bed.
All right. And do you have a master bath with regard to the bedroom?
There's a bathroom, yeah.
All right. That would have been where you brushed your teeth?
Yeah.
And washed up?
But I did. That's where I would do those things, but I didn't do that.
You didn't do those?
No.
Okay. Did you grab a drink of water before you went to bed?
Nope.
All right. So you essentially came home, and I think we agreed it was around 12:20 or so, give or take a minute.
Roughly.
And you made a beeline for your bedroom.
Correct.
Did you fall asleep shortly thereafter?
Soon after,
Within 5 minutes or
Itching
so?
is everywhere.
I started to doze off. I don't know exactly how soon after I fell asleep.
All right. Sometime within 5 or 10 minutes, would you say?
I would say more like within 15 minutes.
15 minutes. Okay. So with regard to getting home, and we'll call it 12:19 because I think that's more consistent with what you said. And understanding that it's just an estimate. If you're walking in the door at 12:19, it takes you maybe a minute to get upstairs.
About a minute.
You kicked off your sneakers downstairs, I imagine.
Maybe, I don't remember. That was a long time ago.
Okay. And then you walk up 2 flights of stairs. Right?
Probably ran up the stairs because I was cold.
Okay. All right. So you get up there around 12:20 or so, correct?
Roughly, yeah.
And you believe that you dozed off about 15 minutes later, which would have made it about 12:35.
Somewhere around there.
Now, when you
Okay, wait a second, because I do have a note here that supposedly I believe I have a slide for this. So this is what we just went over, right? We see the itching, which is the sign of relieving stress. When he says yes, I guess that's what I said. He's gonna be shaking his head no, and then do a lip compression. So this might be this part because I don't remember hearing that yet. So let me do this in slow motion. See if we can get any shaking heads and lip compressions.
son, Nicole Albert, was not home, correct?
Not when I first got home.
And in fact, I think your testimony was that 10 minutes after you got home, he opened the bedroom door.
I think that's what I said, yeah.
Right now?
Do you want to stick with that?
I'm just trying to recollect what I, thinking it over. So obviously it was a little bit longer.
Because you
It's your
actually
ear
woke
again?
up when he opened the bedroom door, correct?
I don't think so.
Did you not just testify before this jury just, I don't know, maybe an hour ago, that you fell asleep and that
Blink
your
rate's
son
going to increase
Colin
right now. It's
opened
going
the
to blink a
bedroom
lot
door
more.
and woke you up to say goodnight?
And I believe that when he says, yes, that's what I said, which is now, he's going to be shaking his head no at the same time. Let's see if this is it.
Yeah, I guess that's what I said.
Okay.
And closes the lips.
And
Lip compression. So this is great because our body doesn't lie, right? And when you're saying something but your head's going like this, that's not a good sign, Mr. Albert. I don't know if I believe you right there because you're saying, yes, that's what I said. So back to this slide here, I have the That's what it said. Say yes, shaking head no. We got a lot of the itching. And here at this slide is when they're talking about the nether cracker or whatever his name is. This cute little cartoon guy. And we're going to talk about real smile, because when this is the first time that Chris Albert shows an actual humanness, like a smile, you know, that I was a little soft. I was like, oh, that's nice. A smile. He can smile. He's able to. He has the ability to smile. And that's when they're talking about the nickname that they gave to John O'Keefe. And I have here, what is a real smile and how do we identify a real smile in the face of the person that we're trying to watch for micro expressions? Usually the real smile is known to have the corners of the mouth towards the eyes, and even your eyes will smile sometimes, right? Right now it's not a real smile because I'm not thinking anything is funny, but if it is, it will be up. Everything is up, which is always good for the face, right? We want everything in the face to be up. So now let me go back to this video here where we're going to see this part. Hopefully I have it right. I'm going to watch the part where he is doing the smile. So let me see where it is. Here you go. It's 157.40. Let me put the video for you. And here we go.
What was your nickname and your wife Julie's nickname for John O'Keefe?
His smile. See?
And your wife Julie actually had John O'Keefe plugged into his car.
That was almost a smile. That was almost like, oh, they're so nice. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So then let me see. We're gonna go to, is that a question? One of his first, is there a question? Just get organized here, make sure. Okay. It's gonna be at, okay, we do have a slide for this. So I do want to show you the slide because it's always better to look at the slide first. Then we know what we're looking for. So this is when Chris Albert is going to say, is that a question? So what we're going to see is lips down, the nose flare. The nose flare is like when you're angry at something, right? You have that little anger showing up. We're going to see also the squinting of the eyes, which could be a sign of anger and defiance. Now, remember, if we only see one of these things, it doesn't mean much, right? Maybe the person just squints their eyes. Maybe they have some eye issue. But when we see all of them together, it's called a cluster. It's called a combination of micro expressions. And that is when we look at the nonverbal cues to determine a meaning for the body language, right? So in this example of the first picture here, he has 4 things going on. He has the lips down, the nose is flaring, and the squinting of the eyes. Together, they mean anger. Now, could I be wrong? And in this case, it's not? Yes, but I'm just pointing out what I observed when he says, is that a question? I observed anger. On the second picture here, we have, are you denying that he doesn't like people cutting through his lawn? Automatically, he's going to look at the attorney, looks at Lolly, like, are you going to object or not? Then we have him smiling when he says, can I explain about the picture, right? He's smiling because it was a joke, and I do believe him there because, yes, you know, it was funny. Like, he was, you can see in the picture, you can see in the picture it's a joke. And this is one of the times that the defense is pushing way too much. Like, hey, calm down, Yannetti. You don't have to go through all of that. We are with you so far, pretty much, you know. But it's a joking picture. Chris and his wife are like in front of Mr. John O'Keefe's house, like, haha, look at us in your yard, you know. It looked like they had a good relationship that day. It looked like that was fine. So here he's just saying, can I explain? And he's like smiling because he knows there is no big deal there. And that is going to be the big contrast between him smiling and when he's answering other questions with his angry face. But of course, the attorney doesn't let him explain. Thank you, Lynn True Crime Project. Yes, I love your analysis. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys being here. Then on the last picture, let me see. I gotta take this out so that we can see. Okay, so on the last picture, he actually asked us to watch his home. I think we see a little bit of the duper's delight, which is usually when one side of the lip goes up as in a half smile, which could mean a thrill of deceiving someone, getting away of something. But in this specific occasion, the attorney seems to be making a lot out of nothing, and it's just a delight for having a smart answer. That's what I believe it is. Okay, so let's just see here what Lynn said. There was an Irish antagonistic relationship between John and the McAlberts. The McAlberts is gonna stick. We invented frenemies, LOL, and grudges to the grave. It's culture. Oh, okay. So here's some insight that I did not know. All right. So thank you, Lynn True Crime, for that comment. Now let's see the video that we haven't watched this yet. All of this is that a question. We're gonna go to the video now and watch together to see if you guys pick up what I'm putting down. So let me go to 159. And if anybody knows how to put the video exactly where it needs to be, please tell me, because sometimes I can't bring it to the exact second. So I'm supposed to be on 159, and let me put the video here and play.
Testimony that John Okeefe.
Let me make it, sorry guys, let me make it a little bit slower so we can pick up on the facial
Kids
expression.
to cut through his lawn all the time.
I don't understand. Is that a question?
It was a question. I guess let me withdraw that and ask this. If John Okeefe is never correct, and he's the get off your lawn guy, are you denying
Now he starts
that he
getting
doesn't
angry
like
again.
people cutting through his lawn?
IMO.
Do you want me to, can I explain?
I just asked for an answer to my question. Mr. Lally will
Normal
get up after
smile.
I'm done, and I'm sure you can explain whatever you want.
So no, he's not no.
All right.
Now the little bit
Well,
of a duper's
You would
delight.
agree with
Like, okay, I'll just give you that answer then, if you're not gonna let me
me
explain.
that
Wait, I'm supposed to watch for another 20 seconds.
there was a time when John Okeefe was not home that you and your wife, Julie, went to his house
That is correct.
and you entered onto his property, correct?
On his front property, yes.
And you had drinks in your hand.
Correct.
And you thought it would be funny to have a photo taken of you and your wife with drinks in your hand on his property, correct?
Correct.
And you knew it would be funny because
Wait. So I'm going to show you guys at the 159 mark. I think it's two mark. When he says, is that a question? He's going to touch his shirt. He's going to swallow. He's going to look at Lally. He's going to touch his ear. He's going to touch his nose. And he's going to answer something else. That's kind of what we just watched. But let me see if we can pick it up here.
correct?
On his front property, yes.
And you had drinks in your hand.
Correct.
And you thought it would be funny to have a photo taken of you and your wife with drinks in your hand.
Touches his button, his shirt, which is kind of like, get me out of here. Like, I'm anxious with these questions or maybe the situation. But let's see what else he does. He's going to take a deep swallow and look at
And on
Lally.
his property, correct?
Correct.
And you knew it would be funny because you knew it would annoy him, correct?
Objection, Your Honor.
See? And then he grabs his ear. Now he's going to touch his nose and then answer something else, which is not the answer the attorney to the question that the attorney.
Yeah, he was actually asking us to watch.
Now, when he comes back a little angry. Like, he was actually telling me, like, he does. At first, he was being genuine, it was a joke, ha ha ha. And then he's trying to answer the attorney. The attorney is antagonizing him. And I believe that Chris has like a temper he's trying to hide. I believe, I don't know him. And that's when he comes back now with full force attitude.
Watch his house while he was away.
Right, but that doesn't answer my question, which was he didn't ask you to go onto his property with drinks in your hand and take a photo, correct?
He asked us to watch his property.
Okay, but again, in answer to my question, the answer is no, he did not ask us to go on his property and take pictures of ourselves with drinks in our hand, correct?
Yeah, he didn't ask me to send him a photo.
it's just the it's just the passive aggressiveness, the whole sarcasm, it's just like it really made me tired to watch all these guys to make this video, guys. I'm telling you, it took me all week
Annoyed him,
because for
correct?
me, I was like I was like one day I can't take more Chris Albert. The second day was Brian Albert, and it's nonstop attitude, sarcasm, like faces. It's just nonstop. Even people that I thought wouldn't have an attitude. Like this family does have a lot of attitude. Maybe they went to the same word salad college or something like that. So now we move on to Julie Albert, who is this lovely guy's wife. She's the one that brought donuts. And when he's going to ask her, the attorney's going to ask about, do you text Courtney Proctor, who's Michael Proctor's wife? Do you guys talk on the phone? And then she's going to have some faces to provide to us. Let me just make sure. The first face here, she's going to be saying very rarely. The second face is when she says, I don't recall. It shakes her head. And the third face is when she says, no, I was not, and swallows. So let's go to the video and see if we can spot. Can we spot it? Let's see. I got to put it here. Make sure it's the right video. Yeah, it is this one. All the way at 328. No, wait. When I am recording, this goes much smoother, but it's okay. We'll get there. 327.57. Okay, so that's what we're watching for. Again, we're watching for her faces. I don't recall. No, I was not. Very rarely. So very rarely is the first face. I don't recall, shaking head. And then I was not, but then she swallows, right? So let's put on the video.
Well, I guess I'd ask you to define very close. Do you deny that you were very close with Courtney Proctor?
No,
Objection, Your Honor.
No, go ahead. Next question. You got your answer.
I didn't hear the answer.
Go ahead. Repeat that.
Do you deny that you were very close with Courtney Proctor?
no,
Okay. You talk regularly, correct?
yes,
You text each other, correct?
yes,
You also talk by phone.
Very rarely.
very rarely.
Like only 6 to 7 times.
Is it?
Who do you guys call 6 to 7 times? I honestly, I work in real estate and I don't speak to the same person 6 to 7 times.
Fair to? Did you say very rarely? You talk to
Phone.
Courtney Proctor by phone?
Usually it's text.
But do you stand by that testimony that you talk to Courtney Proctor very rarely by phone?
Do we have a time frame? Do you mean
Why
now?
is the judge interrupting all of a sudden? In the middle of Yanetti's questioning, right? He's trying to get to a point. He's trying to like make the witness get into a corner, but the judge has to be like, wait, do we have a time? Excuse me, Your Honor. Not your turn. Not your turn.
Or do you mean that?
Yanetti must be
Let me
like,
ask you this. Between February 1st of 2022 and September 6th of 2022, did you only speak rarely with Courtney Proctor?
I don't recall.
she's laughing in her. Oh, come on. I don't recall. It
Were
makes me
you
mad.
using Courtney Proctor as an intermediary to communicate with Michael Proctor about this case?
Objection.
No, I was not. It swallows.
No, I was not.
Are you aware that between
So, again, just be genuine. I don't know why she can't be genuine, but let's say this was a normal situation, okay? Let's say they didn't have anything to hide, and I am not saying she has anything to hide. I don't know this lady, and I wasn't there. I don't know anything, okay? But let me put myself in that situation. I have a friend, I'm talking to her. She's the wife of the guy who's investigating, and then the attorney asks me, "Do you talk to her?" Yes, we've been friends for a few years. This is a very small town, and yes, I do talk to her. Well, did you guys talk about the investigation? Sometimes, but I don't think her husband shares with her, all of the things. And I was just saying, like, how crazy everything was that happened, was traumatic, just being natural about the situation. But the whole I don't talk to her only very rarely, like only 6 to 7 times. And most other people I talk to, it's like 300 times. So I don't know. It makes it hard for us to kind of like believe you. So those are her faces here. Then let me see where we go from here. Right. So this next slide. This next slide, I think you guys are gonna like it, is when she looks at Lolly because she's being asked a question about the 6 to 7 times. Okay. So she's saying, Lolly, I thought he was not going to ask me this. And then, oh no, Yannetti first. Yannetti says, were you aware you spoke by phone 6 to 7 times? And then she looks at Lolly, and Lolly's like, I don't know. What do you want me to do? You guys did all these things that I can't explain. And now I'm sweating. And what if sort of anything do you want me to do? That's Lolly. Okay. So now we're going to watch that. I believe, if I can find the right time here. I think it's coming up because they're still talking about this subject of the 6 to 7 times. So let's see.
Between February 1st of 2022 and September 6th of 2022, you and Courtney Proctor spoke by phone 67 times.
Looks at Lolly. Lolly, help. So anyways, that was the slide I wanted to show you guys because the look is just so amazing. And that's the type of thing that I get when I am making these videos, because I'm like, I can't believe this is all happening. I can't believe that there's so much going on, like in their faces, in their micro expressions. And if I could make a video for a week on these, but I just take certain parts of their testimony because they're all very expressive. It's all full of body language, nonverbal communication here. But it's just amazing how there's so much. And like I said before, in the beginning, when I first started making this video, I did not expect to have so much material. I thought, oh, Julie, her testimony was fine. Nicole, her testimony was fine. But if you see this, like the eye, and you see things like that, you're like, okay, I gotta put that in the video. They are making me. I didn't do it. I didn't make those faces. All I'm doing is observing their faces. So now we're gonna go to the part where she says, I don't recall my interview. And then the notes I have are that she's gonna say, I don't recall my interview, shaking head, looks down, blinking a lot, shakes her hair sideways. And that's what I have here that happened. But now let's see if my notes are correct. So 111:15 I'm supposed to go to. See, and then it goes to 24 or 10. So I have to watch like a minute that we were supposed to watch. But let's watch anyways. Go.
2022, correct?
January 28th.
So is it your testimony that you know that Colin left on Friday night as opposed to after midnight on January 29th?
I don't understand what you're asking.
What just occurred is I asked you whether you knew that your son Colin was at your sister-in-law Nicole's and your brother-in-law.
When she said I don't understand what you're asking in this case here, I actually believe that she didn't understand. It was very natural. It wasn't like sarcastic. What is your question? Rephrase your question.
Right now, it's house on January 29th. And you just corrected.
I'm sorry. It was after midnight. So I got confused. I apologize.
Not a problem. So the answer to my question is you learned that he was there on January 29th, correct?
Yes, after midnight.
And you now know that is the same house outside which John Okeefe was found dead that morning, correct?
Yes, I do.
And one last question: that you were interviewed by Trooper Proctor and his.
Okay, so now I'm gonna pause and make this a little bit slower. When she's gonna talk about, I don't recall my interview. So again, I have my notes as shakes head, looks down, blinking a lot, shakes her hair sideways, and looks sideways. So all of these are considered clusters because they are things together at the same time happening right after she says, I don't recall my interview.
Fair to say you never told them that Colin was there at that time, correct?
I don't recall my interview.
Now, and you see her eye movement kind of like searching for something, and the lips kind of like when you do something wrong and you want to avoid eye contact.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Lally.
Just briefly, Your Honor.
I think that was it. Just briefly, Your Honor. Lolly, get a Red Bull or something. Get something, Lolly, because you're bumming everybody out with your lack of energy. Poor Lolly. He's working so hard. He's all by himself. I'm telling you. So let me cue
Mr. Albert.
this next one up. Oh, wait. I have a slide for that. I don't recall my interview. Let me go over the slide. Because as you guys know, I love making slides. Right here, I don't recall my interview. No, not you, Nicole. Don't look at it yet, guys. Don't look at it. Dirty Holmes. Where is it? Oh, right here, coming up. Right here, right here. Okay, so I don't recall my interview. So let me take this real quick. So I get a little bit of contempt with the lip being on the corner. And you guys tell me, what does this last face say to you? Okay. But here are my notes from all of this, all of this 5 images here happened after I don't recall my interview. Simple sentence, right? But unfortunately, our limbic system makes things happen in our faces and we can't run away from it. So, first picture, wide open eyes can indicate fear. Raised eyebrows together. Okay, again, fear, disbelief. Forehead furrows often associated with an unresolved trauma and shock in the past. Interesting. Then we have a sudden lip compression may signal the onset of anger, discomfort, disliking, grief, sadness, or uncertainty. So that sudden lip compression can mean so much here. So what we have to do is go back to the first things, right? We have fear, disbelief, maybe shock. So maybe we have a little bit of discomfort, disliking, grief here, right? We don't have to read too much into it. The lip corner on the second picture, contempt. Lip corner tightened and raised on only one side of the face, contempt. And that is an universal signal. Then we have, it is also thought that looking to the right and downwards suggests self-doubt. And that's how her face acts when she's saying that she doesn't recall her interview. Okay. So let me go over your comments here because this is all amazing to have you guys participating. Now I saw that. Let me see. We got Lynn. The graphics here are terrific. I do get carried away. Yes, they're acting cagey. You see it and feel it. And that is another question I actually was going to ask. So thank you, Lynn, for reminding me. I was going to ask you this. If you remember, how did you feel after each of the Albert's testimony? You can say one person or you can talk about everybody after listening to Chris Albert, like when you watched the trial, not right now, but when you watched the trial, how did you feel? Did you believe him? Did you think he was weird, iffy? Not putting anything that we know or may have heard on social media, just as pretending that you were part of the jury. After Brian, how did you feel? After Nicole, how did you feel? What is the type of feeling that you get? Because I do believe that is something very important, right? Remember, first impressions are always very effective, very powerful. So even when I am listening to throughout the day, oh look, see, I just touched my nose. Be careful, I might be lying. So even when I'm listening throughout the day, I'm listening to somebody testify. I'm like, oh, I like this person. I didn't like this person. Like, for example, Carrie Roberts. When I was in the car listening to her testimony, and I was like, oh, I don't know who that is, but it just sounds genuine. Blah blah blah. And then afterwards, I was listening to the commentaries and stuff. So how did you feel after you heard Nicole Albert testify, Julie Albert testify, Chris Albert testify, Brian Albert testify, Brian Albert Jr. testify, and Colin Albert testify? Tell me how you felt. So here we have yes. What is this stop sign? I don't know. Red Bull. Oh my god, I'm so slow. Red Bull for Lolly. Yes, I mean Lolly's objections in slow motion when I'm doing these videos are like. Objection, Your Honor. And I just have to laugh. Lolly sounds like the sad clerk who hates his job. It's true. Okay. I was pretty neutral about Brian Albert. Look at this from Coca. Then about halfway through it, clicked that he was not being honest. Exactly. When Brian Albert, like, even before I made this video, after just watching the court, and I watched with Emily D. Baker, she's like my fave. But anyways, I watched his testimony and I was like, oh, this guy is like pretty straightforward. Like he has answers. He's not intimidated. Like sounds like military guy, just like, all right, whatever, we'll go with it. We'll go with your responses. But then some of the things really started to feel a little weird for me. And I don't think that actually happened when I was watching the trial. I think it happened for me when I was going over his testimony afterwards in more detail. So I don't know. Interesting comment here from Coca, because I can definitely identify with that. So let's see who's next here. If we have any more Julie or the donut queen. No, now we move on to Nicole Albert. And let me just say, right, the same way that I just talked about Brian Albert, Nicole Albert, when she was testifying and I was making this video, I felt bad for her. I was like, oh, she reminds me of my mom, somebody like just cleaning up after her kids, just wanting to make the house okay. And I felt like she was uncomfortable testifying. But as I'm watching this and as I am pausing and preparing the video, I'm like, whoa, Nicole, you got some attitudes. You got some attitudes going on, Nicole. And I was surprised. And so I had to make a slide about her. And I feel for her. I don't know what kind of situation she's in. I don't know anything about her life. Neither do I want to know. But this is just an observation thing. And to remember, right? Being human, having compassion. She had to get rid of her house or her dog and all that's going on with her. She must be in a turmoil and her face shows. So the fact that she's showing this anger, this contempt, she's like shaking her head during her testimony. I'm not going to say it means that she's lying or anything. It's just that her life was turned upside down. So in a way, I can have compassion for her. Just the dog alone. God, no. I would not rehome my dog. So anyways, let's go through her slide. And then we're going to go through her clip. Let me forward here. Okay, so I got to do it like this. Rehomed. Let me do it again because you guys can see it better when I'm not in the picture. Wait, how do I do this? Here. Okay, now it worked. See? Chloe with the cell phone, rehomed. The home was rehomed. This is Brian. His cell phone was rehomed. And this is Nicole Albert. She talks about selling her home, rehoming Chloe, did not mention her nephew Colin was at the house to the police, testifies she did not speak to her sister Julie that morning, but was awoken by her entering the room. So those are the keys that I wrote down. Okay, I'm sure her testimony had a lot more going on, but so the Colin thing, I don't know. I don't know if I buy that Colin had something to do with it, that he had a fight or whatever. And also, being a devil's advocate here, right? The police said, "Hey, who was at the house?" And she was saying, "Well, Brian Jr. was there with two of his girlfriends." If Colin left, which is what they're saying, she didn't say Colin, and her husband didn't say Colin. So I'm not gonna crucify her for that, honestly, because it could have been her explanation, could be the truth, that when she got there, Colin was no longer there. So when she was asked about who was there, she didn't mention him. Fine. No, I have no problem with that. Now, she's also going to testify that her sister Julie, testified she did not speak to her sister Julie that morning, but was awakened by her entering the room. And Brian Albert looks pretty scary to me. I don't know if I would enter his room unannounced in the morning screaming, because he might shoot me in the face. That's just like, really? But that's just how he looks to me. He looks a little scary. So let's go to her video and see if I can find, hopefully I can. Yes, here you go, Nicole Albert, where her testimony is. Give me 1 second, guys. I am looking for it. Supposed to be here. Let me share and just go over some comments here real quick. This one was Sart, and then yay, EDB, and the lawyer, they're my favorites. Like, they're just so level-headed, they try to stay as neutral as possible. And I just can't watch court TV on its own. Like, I need EDB talking to me. So I always watch her. Then we have, feels like they're trying to get out in front of something, and you wonder why. Innocent people don't do that. I mean, definitely there's some facts in this trial that innocent people don't do. Innocent people don't throw their phone away at the military base. But that's Higgins, right? He didn't destroy it, guys. He threw it away. It's different. Then we have True Crime Project. Coco, okay, I get it. Can you prove to us that you have a rehomed Whisper? Whisper. Where is he? He's in the bedroom taking a nap. I promise I have a rehomed Whisper. I can't wake him up now because he's going to want to sit right here. And it's a lot. So I will prove to you guys, I promise, that I have a rehomed Whisper. Oh my God, Whisper is like my best friend. It's weird. My best friend is a dog, guys, for real. And it is. Dogs are better than people sometimes. Who's on trial here? The witnesses. Yes, Jeff Williams. That's exactly what it feels like, because we've had over 40 something witnesses, like 40, whatever. I'm trying to make summaries and I'm like so tired. And I'm making a summary. I'm thinking, why is this person here? Why do we have all these people testify? Because from one person, I'll get like one sentence. Oh, okay, this person said this. That's relevant. And from some people, I have nothing. I'm like, why did they even go there? Why did they even testify? And yes, the prosecution looks like is making a case for it wasn't us instead of it was Kara Reed. Like, if it was Kara Reed, let us see it. Let us see it. Show us the money. I have an open mind. I'm not saying here that there's no chance that Kara Reed could have done this, but all of these days we're watching it and we're like, okay, where is the evidence? So it's hard. It's hard. Lynn True Crime. Nicole is a cop wife with 5 kids. She's a battle axe. Yes. She's like, no joke. I was really sorry for her, but nah, I don't think so. Jeff, they all said he wasn't in the house. So wait, they all said Colin wasn't in the house or John Okeefe? Please clarify if you can on your next comment. Why it's Karen on trial. Exactly. All the evidence was outside. It's just so much it's just so confusing. My Cowboy alert. Okay. So let's see if we can get to this video, and here's some things that we're gonna watch on this video, okay? She's gonna talk about the dog, and she's going to be shaking her head like no, which is okay, Jeff just clarified here before we move to the video. John, yeah, they said the guy never went into the house. The guy never went into the house. Okay, fine. And you guys drive me crazy. The guy never went into the house. That's what I heard them say. But anyways, let's go back to this one. This one. So she's gonna shake her head when she's talking about the dog, which I believe she actually is expressing remorse, because who wouldn't, right? If you have a dog for 8 years, your best friend, she's like, like, "Ah, why did we do that?" That's what I get. Then she's going to be pursing her lips, closing her lips as a sign of disapproval. Then when she says making a mistake, then she's gonna do the tongue jut, making a mistake, getting away with something. When she says plans or discussions, the tongue is gonna go to the side. She's gonna do an eye roll, and all of that we're gonna see now. So make myself a little smaller, and
You just brought her back upstairs.
And to your knowledge, did Chloe the dog, did Chloe go outside at any other point over the course of that evening?
No.
Now
we're watching for shake your head. No one talks about the dog.
Obviously, you've moved from 34 Fairview to North, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And when about was it in relation to this incident, January 29th, 2022, that you moved?
We moved in April of 2023.
And what, if any, plans or discussions
What, if
were
anything,
there
sort
in
of?
reference to moving prior to January 29th?
Objection, Your Honor.
So not the specifics, but generally, not the conversation.
Stop leading.
We had always planned to move, but it was in our
Wait.
plans that, what kids were starting to get older.
Wait. Before we get to this part, we always plan to move. We're going to
So
go
not
over
this-
one of our slides here. But anyways, let's see here. After the rehomed slide, we have another slide for her. Just kidding. So here is her saying always plan to move, kids are getting older, her head's gonna shake no, turning the head from side to side, which is a signal of disagreement. When she says moved from 34 Fairview, this is her face here in the middle, second and third picture. Closed lips, pursed lips, disapproval. When she talks about moving in April 2023, she does a little tongue jut, like, and she must not be happy with the situation, moving out of her house, her forever home. This is the house that the parents built, and now she has to move. Like, her face is not happy about this, and she bites her lips. So tongue jut, caught making a mistake, or thinking that you're getting away with something. And I think she's just saying, like, in her face, she's not getting away with something, but she's saying, like, I'm getting away with the anger that I'm feeling because I'm not going to show it here. Then we have when they're talking about plans and discussions. Look here, right next to my head, where she has. Okay, let me take myself out of here. She has a little tongue to the side. She looks down, and then she looks like to the horizon, right? She does an eye roll, frustration when there's an objection, disagreement, and her last face is like chewing her face off. Like, she's just going like, I don't know what this face means, but this is all going to happen when they're talking about selling the home, which must be a delicate thing for her. Now, this is a quiz time, game show. Please provide 12 reasons to sell a property. And trust me, I'm a real estate broker in Florida, by the way, call me. And When I talk to people, the most common question is, should I sell my home now? Is it a good time to sell my home? What do you think? Here we got 12 reasons to sell your home. And she's going to go over 12 reasons to sell your home. Let's see. All of that, guys, is coming up. So let me go back and see where we're going to go back to in the video here, when she's going to talk about. Okay, so 319 is where I go back to. We're going to watch all of the things we just talked about: the shaking of the head, the lips pursing, the disapproval, the eye rolls. So you guys have the YouTube? Yes.
You just brought her back upstairs.
And to your knowledge,
lips first.
Chloe the dog, did Chloe go outside?
The tongue to the side, and then again, biting the lips. So the tongue to the side, disagreement. Of course she disagrees, because who would agree to rehome your dog? The tongue jut, the pursed lips, disapproval. Lots of disapproval here.
Of course of that evening.
No.
She just seems sad about the whole situation, which I would be too, I guess.
Now,
but she also seems frustrated, right? Because she's gonna do eye roll. So she also seems to be frustrated.
at some point, obviously you've moved from 34.
She's trying to like stay calm, but it's not easy.
And when
Okay, her
was
lips.
it in relation to this incident of January 29th,
Because her lips is saying how much frustration she's experiencing right now.
2022, that you
We moved in April of 2023.
Tongue jut.
and with any plans or discussions were there in reference to moving prior
Tongue to the side, teeth.
Objection, Your Honor.
An objection, we get an eye roll, a frustration, and
Not the
disagreement.
specifics, but generally, not the conversation.
We had always planned to move, but it was in our plans that, what kids were starting to get older. We were looking to possibly
So here we get kids are starting to get older. We were possibly looking to downsize. What else?
downsize. So at the end of 2021, my husband's brother had sold his house.
Three.
No, I'm going to allow that.
She hates the
My
attorney.
husband's brother had sold his
Little, by the
house
way.
and got a good deal for it. It sold pretty quickly. The market was
Four.
really good at that time.
Market was good.
So we
Five.
just started thinking, hey, the kids are getting older. A couple of them
Kids
had
are getting
already
older,
moved
six.
out. We weren't going to be able to
Moved
stay
out,
in that
seven.
house. It's like a
weren't gonna
5-bedroom
be
house.
staying,
Once our
8.
kids were gone, my husband and I wouldn't have been able to maintain that. Needed a lot of work. We couldn't afford it.
Wow, we get it.
So
You
we said
needed to
maybe
sell the
now's the
house.
time.
We get it.
We should put it on the market and see what happens.
Wow. Wow. Take a deep breath. So, over-explaining is a habit response when we attempt to rid ourselves of guilt or anxiety by providing the right answer to somebody. This is from psychologist Dr. Nicole Albert. So Caitlin was getting older, looking to downsize, blah, 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 blah. All of these were the reasons why they moved, okay? So husband's brother sold his house. It sold quickly. The market was really good. Okay. Kids are getting older. A couple of them moved out. We weren't going to be able to stay in the house. Why not? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Why weren't you be able to stay in that house? Looking at you. Okay, it was a 5-bedroom house. We wouldn't be able to maintain that. A lot of work. We couldn't afford it. All right. All right, lady. We understand you had to sell the house. We had to sell the house. So I think I have an eye roll, which I didn't see, but let me try to put it in the right place here. Okay, I'm gonna try to make this a little slower. Hopefully I have the right place here. Now, this was an objection. So she looks at the judge and she kind of like smiles. Oh, you're my best friend, judge. I love you. Anyways, and I'm just kidding, guys. I don't know anything like that. Now, we're doing a slow motion here when we get to 7,
Put it on market.
28, 49, 50. I think there's an eye roll.
Objection, lady. The objection sustained. Ask a non-leading question.
When was
That's
the sale?
It just seems like she doesn't like the attorney at all that is questioning her. She's so annoyed with the attorney. I can't even. So, next, after the quiz, after all the 12 reasons, we're going to look at this slide here, which is the slide of the objection. Objection! And that is the eye roll. So, let's see what's going on here, guys, in the comments. We got Lynn True Crime saying she's trying to keep her cop husband out of penitentiary. And then we have Char. Well, it's not a mention. Stop saying here. This is what I was saying, right? It was the family house his father built. So it's just really hard to believe, right? It's really hard to believe that they would just like sell because of all the 12 reasons they provided. And then here's when she was looking at her friend, the judge. Love you, judge, on top. And then all of a sudden, she is so mad. And that is what her face did when Ms. Little said objection, right? Let's see what is next. Just cue the video here. Fooling around. Okay, so we're moving on. We're moving on to Brian Albert. We're done. We're done, Nicole. We're moving on to Brian Albert. He was like, it was just difficult. It was just difficult for me to watch Brian Albert after a while. He was like driving me crazy. Okay, so hold on. Let me see if I have a fooling around. I mean, this guy's fooling around. And it's also something that caught my attention. I don't know if it caught your attention. Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me just paste this and then I'm going to talk to you guys because I can't do everything at once. Amazingly. Okay, so fooling around. Brian Albert is going to say fooling around 1,000 times. But one thing I noticed was that his wife also used the same term, right? They're just fooling around. Then Brian Higgins also used the same term. So is that fooling around just a term that they all use? Or maybe did they? I don't know. Let's see. So here I have to put in the right time, 3:23:30. Let me go to the video and cue the video for you. Let's see. Guys, be nice in the chat. I don't know what's going on, but when I read, you better be nice. Otherwise, you guys are all on time out. 3:23 here.
Any sort of conversation with her.
Did you observe your husband and Brian Higgins engaging in sort of?
Oh, this is her saying fooling around.
I saw them fooling around with each other. Yeah.
Okay. Your Honor, if I could show just a screenshot of the video that's been produced.
A screenshot of it? Sure.
That's true. I mean,
Yeah, so can you take this down just until the witness has it, please? I thought you were
nobody
just
saw
showing the screen. Can I show it up here?
anything.
Yes.
Okay. So what are you doing
Should we
with it?
mark that as an exhibit? Or
I don't think there's a need to. I thought you were showing something to the jury that you were just. Okay.
if I could show you this photograph.
All right, so we will mark it for identification.
Ms. Albert,
So hold on, we need to. So we'll mark it for identification. So we'll take it from the witness for a minute, please.
Sorry.
We'll mark it for identification, but this is incorporated in what exhibit number?
I believe it's exhibit 53, Your Honor.
All right, just so our record's clear.
One screenshot is W for identification.
Thank you. All right, so now you can.
You know, if I may, I haven't seen what the witness is looking at.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
All right, so you want to display it on the screen now, Ms. Little?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, sure, go right ahead.
Ms. Albert, do you see the two individuals sort of closest frame to us?
Wait.
Backs turned to us?
I think
Email? I know it's kind of hard to see.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're fooling around.
The
Okay.
man that's just been zoomed in with the logo on the back of his sweatshirt.
I believe that's Brian Higgins.
Okay. And then the person
We're just watching
the
for
person that sweatshirt is
fooling
Brian Higgins.
around.
I think. Yeah.
Let's
Well,
go
I
to
can
Brian.
tell.
We'll go to Brian in a second.
I know this is kind of hard to see because the
What
number.
are they doing?
Yeah.
But is that your husband who left kind of the fighting stance?
Yeah, I think so.
Fighting
Robert, when your
stance.
husband drinks, does he
So
often
I'm sorry, are we taking this down or keeping it up?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Okay.
Judge,
Ms. Albert, when your husband drinks,
Judge, the defense attorney was in the middle of her question again. Can you like stop interrupting? It's not your turn.
and get into sort of these practice sparring, practice fighting stances. Is that common for him?
No, I'm going to allow it. No, I don't think so.
So this type of behavior was unusual for him.
No, I think they were just fooling around. I don't think there was anything much to it.
My question was, is it unusual for you to see him sort of practice fighting?
I wouldn't call that practice fighting. I think they were just fooling around. And yeah, maybe I've seen him do that other times, but it was fooling around. They weren't practicing.
Oh, fooling around, fooling around, fooling around, fooling around. So they all have the same language. The same language. So I have to get to the right video so that we can go to Brian Albert. I hope it's this one. So you see how the
No, I think they were
language
just fooling
is
around. I
all
don't think there was anything much to it.
it's
My
all the
question was-
same. It's all synchronized. Fooling around, fooling around, fooling around. That's all they were doing. Let me go to Brian Albert here at 5:40. Are you guys ready for some Brian Albert in your life? Let's see.
If anyone else showed up and eventually sort of joined the group.
There was another couple at the table. I don't know if they were there initially when I walked in, but there was another couple at the table whom I believe were there
Nicole
before I got there, but I
Albert.
just don't know what the names were.
You know how
Why not? They were so nice.
they were related to your group?
I think they're friends with Jen and Matt, but I'm not 100% sure.
And where were they situated in reference to where your wife and your daughter live?
So they were, I believe, to the right of this pretty large high top table.
So toward the other end of the table.
Yes.
And if you recall, what were you drinking?
I don't recall. I usually drink beer, Mick Ultra, but I can't remember that night what I was drinking.
Now,
And he was drinking since 9 o'clock until what? He went home at like midnight. That was the last time for alcohol. So yeah, I mean, Mick Ultra is like water, but anyways,
Or not.
he was
Right.
he was drinking for a few hours. So now let's go to day 10 here on this Q26, and we're gonna watch a little bit of oh, this is such an annoying interaction that we already saw a little bit of it in the initial video, because he says he hasn't talked to Lolly in like since 2022. And then he says, well, I mean, except for this, or you didn't say speak, you said prep. Dude, like stop with the word salad. You know, word salad is something that people with NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, they love to do. Is when you question them about something straightforward and they start speaking words in a salad and they don't say anything that makes sense. The question is, did you speak to Mr. Lolly before this trial? Yes. When? Last week. That's it. But here's what Brian Albert does. And we're going to have to watch like a minute before he actually gets to that part, because I can't get to the right second here. So,
Okay, whenever you're ready, Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, Ryan.
under
This is not, this process is not the first time you testified in
2653,
court, was it?
hopefully.
In fact, you were a police officer for either just under or just over 30 years. Is that right?
Yes.
During that time, how many times did you say that you testified in a court of law in any capacity?
I would say 100, perhaps.
So you consider yourself to be an experienced witness.
In what aspect? In as far as being a witness as a police officer?
You've experienced testifying in a courtroom.
Yes.
Okay, so you understand the oath.
Yes.
You understand the gravity of perjury.
Yes.
When was the last time you spoke to Mr. Lally? Before Friday, when you began testifying?
Before Friday, the last time I spoke to Mr. Lally was, I believe, on a conference call around the time of my grand jury testimony.
Which would have been 2022?
Yes.
April of 2022.
Yes.
You've not spoken with Mr. Lally since that time.
I don't remember speaking with Mr. Lally since that time. No.
What about anybody else from the district attorney's office?
No.
Have you gone over the facts, or what you believe to be the facts of your testimony with anybody before you testified on Friday, not including any lawyer that you may have?
No.
Did you discuss any questions that you may be asked on direct examination, or questions that you may be posed on cross-examination with any member of the district attorney's office?
No.
Were you told about any exhibits or documents that you might be shown?
Just in the prep, I believe I was shown a video of the waterfall bar.
And that was back in April of 2022?
No, that was for the prep for this trial.
With whom did you prep?
I promised Mr. Lally.
I'm confused. I thought you said you had not spoken with Mr. Lally since April of 2022.
Except for the prep for this trial, I had not.
Okay, that was my question, Mr. Albert.
Okay, I misunderstood your question. I apologize.
Did you prep for this trial?
Am I being punked? I don't know. I don't know what is happening. So let me see here. Oh no, let me see, let me just make this comment real quick. So what do I get from Mr. Albert? What is the feeling? What is the feeling that you get from Mr. Albert? So when he does these word things, word salad things that he talks in circles, I feel like he's pretending to be dumb and that he pretends to be like polite. Oh, I apologize. I didn't understand what you were asking. But I don't buy it because I believe that you understand exactly what the attorney is asking, Mr. Brian Albert. So that's what I get. What do you guys get? What do you guys get? Let's see.
Trial with Mr. Albert.
Yes.
When?
Approximately a few weeks ago.
Okay. Mr. Albert, about 45 seconds ago, I asked you, have you spoken with Mr. Lally before your testimony in this process, this proceeding? And your answer was, no, I have not. Did you not understand my question?
I did not.
What was confusing about it?
I was expecting you to ask if I had prepped with Mr. Lally. I didn't hear prep with Mr. Lally, so I didn't know what you were referring to.
So when I said spoke with Mr. Lally, since I didn't say prep with Mr. Lally, your answer was no, I didn't speak with him. I just prepped with him.
Yes.
What's the difference between speaking and prepping?
No, there is no difference. I just misunderstood your question. That's all.
Tell me about that prep with Mr. Lally.
Sure. I prepped with Mr. Lally about this trial with Mr. Lally, my attorney.
Where did that preparation take place?
The preparation took place, I believe, I'm trying to remember exactly where it was. I actually don't recall where it was.
Could have been at the DA's office.
Yes, but it wasn't at the DA's office. No, I believe it was somewhere else, but I can't remember. If it was here at the DA's office, I'm not sure.
I also asked you a couple minutes ago, did you review any documents or any evidence in preparation for your testimony? And to that question, you also answered no.
What? I said I reviewed the video.
Well, now you're saying you reviewed the video, but when I
Yes.
asked you, did you see any evidence or documents, anything in preparation for your testimony? You said no, right?
No, I believe I said I saw a video.
Did you misunderstand my question when I asked the first time as well?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna try to be clearer with my questions.
Okay.
Let me try again. What, if anything, have you reviewed in anticipation of your testimony in this trial?
So I reviewed a video of the waterfall.
Anything else?
I reviewed my transcript from the grand jury.
So you have reviewed your prior testimony,
My transcript of the grand jury, yes.
which is prior testimony, correct?
Yes.
When did you do that?
I did that during the prep.
What part of the waterfall video did Mr. Lally show you?
That was a small snippet of the video, and just one of the 20 seconds of video during that night.
Which part? There's a lot of video there. Which part, if you can tell us, which part did you review with Mr. Lally?
It just showed the waterfall. It showed patrons. It showed myself and the other people I was with.
What were you doing in that 20-second snippet of that video?
I believe in one portion of it, I
Exactly,
was fooling around
Christine.
with Brian
Playing
Higgins.
dumb.
Fooling around?
Yes.
What was that?
It means we were just fooling around. That's it.
Fooling around like arm wrestling?
No, I don't think we were arm wrestling. I think we were just pushing each other, fooling around.
Oh, so play fight.
I don't think I would call it play fighting. No, I was just.
Remember seeing part of the video where you took a fighting stance or like this?
I actually don't remember that part.
Alright.
No.
No cop I know is that on the
Fighting
wire
stance for practice?
surroundings. They're
Maybe, yes.
hyper
So you approach
alert at all times.
I don't think I saw that whole video. No,
Yeah.
Practicing fighting techniques?
I wouldn't call it that.
You
No.
can have that. I'm sorry. What was your answer to that, Mr. Albert?
No.
Excuse me, Judge. Now your turn.
So what you reviewed with Mr. Lally was the portion of the video where you and Mr. Higgins were somehow fooling around. And how would you describe it? If it's not fighting techniques, how would you describe it?
Just joking, being silly, just fooling around.
Doing what physically?
Doing,
Yeah.
if you rephrase,
Physically. I mean, you joke with words.
Right.
You don't just joke.
But remember, he's going to testify later that he butt dialed Brian Higgins when he was fooling around with his wife.
With words like stand up meeting, or were you doing something physically?
no, I think we were pushing each other, fooling around, joking.
Oh, how sweet. The fooling around is so sweet. So now let me go to the. Okay, let me see here. A few of the comments, Christine. Why did he keep looking down? Well, avoiding eye contact or eye blocking of any form is a sign of discomfort, right? So when the person is answering, he has all these prepared answers that seems like he's very well prepared. But after you have a uncomfortable interaction, it's natural for you to look down and avoid eye contact if you're not comfortable with the questioning, if you're not comfortable with the subject. Because when you're comfortable with somebody, you look them in the eye, right? You maintain eye contact. You have nothing to hide. The eyes are the windows for the soul. So when you say, well, we're just doing this, we're just doing that, I didn't say anything, the guy wasn't there, and you look down, it's kind of your body saying, avoid eye contact. This is uncomfortable. And yes, please, true crime, hit the like, subscribe, share, do all the YouTube things like Emily likes to say, because it's helping out a lot. And then let's see here, we have Ricky's. I hate it that the judge asks the question for the defense. Yes, I know. She's like, I'll allow. No, she'll say, did you think that? Did you? I'm sorry, Judge, but listen to me, Mrs. Beverly. Attorneys, they go to school for years, as you have well done, ma'am. And attorneys, they make a name for themselves because they have a certain quirk, personality, a certain charisma. And that is used when they're asking questions. There is a system for it. There's a flow. And sometimes there's like even I can't think of the word right now, but you start here and you increase until you get to a point where the witness feels cornered. When you keep interrupting and asking the questions on behalf of the attorneys, it's not. It's not. Okay. So stop it. Stop it, please. Okay. And what else? What else? What else? Lynn, a cop knows it's easier to make it look like an accident to dispose of the body. I mean, if it was an accident, why didn't they just say it was an accident, right? Oh, we have so many questions, so many questions, so many questions. Now, let me see here. We got some new people, and I am so happy that you guys are all here. Let's see where we are with the video here. Now I'm supposed to go to not being close friends with Higgins, which is another silly thing, right? He knows Higgins for years. He's at the bar grabbing Higgins' butt, not to say anything. Their butts constantly call each other, and you're gonna say you don't know Higgins, or oh, we're not friends, or like we're not close friends. So let's see that part.
Tuned in to anything that's live streaming, any media coverage?
No.
You're aware that your wife testified before you?
Yes.
Did you just, I want to know what the words were. Did you discuss her testimony with her before you
Of
testified?
course.
No.
So she came home after testifying in this trial, and you two never brought it up.
No. I just asked her how she was doing, and that was it.
Is you
Maybe.
close friends with Brian Higgins?
All right.
I wouldn't describe it as close friends, no.
He's a fellow law enforcement officer, correct?
Yes.
Works for the ATF,
He does.
the Department of Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives, correct?
Yes.
How long have you known Mr. Higgins?
I think I first met Mr. Higgins about 15 years ago.
How did you meet him?
It was a
Wow,
professional something at
15
work.
years.
We may have worked together. I think at the time he was a Cambridge arson squad member, and I think he came into the city of Boston to do something for work.
Okay, well, do we believe that he's not close friends with Mr. Higgins? I don't know. I mean, okay, fine, you're not. So here, back to the slides, so we don't like skip all the slides. This is my slide for him, fooling around. Brian Albert, the owner of the home, and he drinks Michelob Ultra. That's an important fact because throughout the trial, the prosecutor is going to ask everybody what they drink, what their mothers drink, what their kids like to drink, what kind of music they listen to, what basketball team is winning, and what the score was at the game they came from. And we're going to know all of this. So in this case, Brian Albert drinks Michelob Ultra. Got it? All right. Because I don't know why. So now we're going to go to this other slide at this mark, 51. But before we go through the video, I like to show you guys this slide because it'll help us to make more sense of the video we're gonna watch. So right after that, okay, here we go. This is the slide we're gonna go over now. Enjoy it. So here we have Alan Jackson, the attorney, asking, Sir, did you previously testify you did not know who Karen was? Then he's gonna do a tongue jut, which is like getting away with something or maybe caught making a mistake. Then he's gonna make this face, the big face here on the slide. How dare you ask me this question? Especially me, right? How dare you question me? And then he's gonna make this, I just sucked on a lemon. This is a lime. Oh no, this is a lemon. The yellow is a lemon, right? So I just sucked on a lemon. So I get corners of the mouth down, which indicates displeasure. Lips pursed, which indicates disapproval or suppressed anger. Puckered lips, which indicates something is not going my way. Then we here have, he's going to take a look at the jury and see if they are buying it. So let me press play so you guys can see the lizard and the tongue jut. Where is it? Did he do it already? Come on, lizard. I think he does it in the beginning. Objection. So hard. Okay, here you go. Haha. I love the lizard. The lizard does the tongue jut. You guys saw it? Okay, I know you guys don't care about that. And I'm just like having fun with the tongue jet. Look at the lizard. Look at the lizard. Now. Ha ha ha. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Okay, so now we're gonna go over this. Yeah, this part of the video. Wait, they're talking about this. Did you previously testify that you did not know Karen? All right, so let me go back to the YouTube thing and gonna go to 5150 here. Go.
You can take the photo, sir.
I have no idea who took the photo.
Could have been Karen Reed.
Objection.
Sustained. Let's move along from
In
that,
fact,
please.
you were interacting with Karen Reed and John Okeefe throughout that evening, correct?
I remember having conversations with John that evening. I don't necessarily remember speaking to Karen that evening.
Irrespective of whether or not you spoke to her, you obviously saw her there.
True, Jeff.
Yes.
That is a
You were there for
possibility.
couple hours.
Well, I wasn't there with her for a few hours. I was there with other people.
Okay. So without splitting words, splitting hairs, she was there, correct?
Yes.
John was there.
Yes.
You were socializing with John.
Yes.
She was right next to him.
Sometimes, perhaps not. Maybe all the times I was talking to him. No.
So you were socializing not exclusively with her,
Right.
but certainly socializing with her 6 days before John Okeefe ended up dead on your lawn, correct?
We were there at the same time. Yes.
And yet, when you were asked 3 months later, do you know Karen Reed or how do you know Karen Reed? The actual question was, so the female you've never met before. Is that fair to say? That was Mr. Lowry's question. And your immediate response was, no, I've never met her or seen her before, correct? That's what you said.
That's not my whole response. No.
That's what you said immediately upon that question, sir.
That's the beginning of my response. Yes.
That was the first sentence out of your mouth.
Yes.
You also testified at the subsequent.
Exactly, Christine. Get that. I got that vibe that nobody questions me. Exactly. That is exactly the vibe that I get from him too. You know, just the attitude in the stand. This is what I get. It's a vibe. It's a vibe. So maybe there are people that don't agree, but you know, we're gonna go over this one more time to see if we can catch these faces here a little bit slower.
Who do you think took the photo, sir?
I have no idea who took the photo.
Could it have been Karen Reed?
Objection.
Sustained. Let's move along from
In
that,
fact,
please.
Move it along.
you were interacting with Karen Reed and John Okeefe throughout that evening, correct?
I remember having conversations with John that evening. I don't necessarily remember speaking to Karen that evening.
Irrespective of whether or not you spoke to her, you obviously saw her there.
Yes.
You were there with her for a couple of hours.
Well, I wasn't there with her for a few hours. I was there with other people.
Right.
So-
Yeah. Okay. And then he just makes that face like I can't do it. So back to the slide. We have the next one, which is the attorneys. Yannetti is doing a little sniff with his nose, saying, "Did you see his tongue jut? I smell both." And then Karen's like, "He didn't know who I was. What?" And he's saying, "It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It wasn't me." Thank you, Christine. Love the breakdown slides. Yes, thank you so much. So let me see what part of the videos we're at, because I have to try to like coincide the videos with the slides here so that make it make sense. Make it make sense. So here I have to go to 2053. Whisper. I hear a little pause walking. Okay, let's watch this.
In June of 2023, when asked what was your impression of Miss Reed, you said, quote, "I honestly didn't really have one. I didn't have any conversation with her. I just kind of saw her from across the table. I didn't really think of it either way." Correct?
I don't know what that question is referring to. Is that for the waterfall or is that for Hillside?
Hillside.
Okay, yes.
All right. So in June of 23, a little over a year later, your testimony significantly changed from "No, I've never met or seen her before" to "I really didn't have a conversation with her. I saw her across the table. I didn't really think of it either way." Correct?
No, I think those are very similar testimonies.
When you were
And then his face, even when we do a 2x speed, right? You can see he does a lot with his lips. There's a lot of like suppressed anger signals sometimes. He goes like a lot of activity on his lips. And when you look at it faster, it's even more evident.
2023.
Again.
When asked what was your impression of Miss Reed, you said, quote, "I honestly didn't really have one. I didn't have any conversation with her. I just kind of saw her from across the table. I didn't really think of it either way." Correct?
I don't know what that question is referring to. Is that for the waterfall or is that for Hillside?
Hillside.
Okay, yes.
All right. So in June of 23, a little over a year later,
Swallows. Lip.
your testimony significantly changed from no, I've never met or seen her before, to I really didn't have a conversation with her. I saw her across the table. I didn't really think of it either way. Correct?
No, I think those are very similar testimonies.
When you were asked in the other proceeding,
And
this
to
is
the
about the waterfall.
jury.
Question: did you talk to Karen Reed at the waterfall that night? You answered unequivocally,
That
I did
breeds
not.
swallows.
Is that right?
Yes.
And that's what you told.
But overall, I caught him at the lemon face. But overall, he does maintain a straight face. So if you're just sitting in the jury and you don't have any of the internets going on and you don't know anything about the case and you're just listening to him, you might be like, all right, I buy it, because he does have a straight face, like a convincing face. But here, because we do have the gift of pause, look at the lemon face that we get. It's a contempt. It's like, contempt. Like, dude, who do you think you are to be questioning me? Me. So let me see what the next slide here is. After the Eisner BS. This is a good one. This is going to be a good one. Let me just see where it is. Okay, so the slide that we're going to go to next, it's not that one. Wait, did I miss this slide here about the nudes? Let me read this slide here real quick. What, if anything? Oh, this is when there was a question. This question that is coming up, which I have to find here, the video. I can't find it, but I have to find. When Alan Jackson asks, you knew you would have a lot to answer for when a body was found at your front lawn, correct? He's going to look at Lollipop, Karen, got my nudes. Lollipop is going to say, what, if anything, do you want me to do? And we're going to know that when there's an eyebrow raised mixed with furrowed forehead, it could be disbelief, disapproval. So he's glancing at the attorney because I think he's talking about the picture, right? Did Karen Reed take that picture? So he looks at the attorney, I think. And then we have this next slide. So Yannette is saying, ask him, because he's saying he doesn't know Karen. Ask if he wanted to distance himself from knowing who Miss Reed was. And Alan was like, oh, I will, just watch me. And then Karen's thinking, did I delete those nudes? So these are the faces he's going to make when he's talking about, you knew you would have a lot to answer for, right? And his face, he's going to look at Lolly. You can see on the second picture here, he's going to look down. He's going to have an eye movement from side to side. He looks at Lolly again. He's going to bite his cheeks and swallow. So right now, let me just pause for 1 second to find this video. Where is it? I think I lost the video. I'm gonna have to pass, maybe. John who took the picture. All right, I know you guys are doing like all the chat things in the meantime. That's so amazing because I need to find this video. I need to find it. I can't just move on. I have to find it. I think I can't find it. Okay, fine. So let me just follow along with the slides. I'm gonna be so mad if I find it later. So, anyways, everybody remembers this question, right? When he said, "You know, you have a lot to answer," and he looks at Lolly. He has the preservation order here on his hand, and then he makes all these faces. Like, why is he asking me this? So, another one of the questions is, did Higgins indicate he was upset for John and Karen showing up together? And then he's gonna make all these faces here. First is like angry, like like the disappearing lips. Then he's gonna make this second face, which is like angry with the cheeks. The third one, his lips go down, and then this fourth one, his tongue is out, tongue juts. Let me take myself out of the picture so you can see the other one. Then he looks on the bottom here. If you look at the bottom, his chin is down. All of a sudden, his chin goes forward on the other picture, and then on the third one. So let me see if I can see where this video is. Okay. I guess I got lost in my notes of the videos, but that's okay because we do have the slides to continue going over. Next, this is what I'm talking about. When he is talking about that, he starts with the chin on the bottom, like when Alan Jackson asks him, what if it would be weird for you to have a guy on your front lawn and you would have to explain, right? Then he has the furrowed brow, the chin juts. So this is the middle picture is right before the chin goes forward. So the chin jut, often accompanied by furrowed brow and pursed lips, signifies defiance, challenge, and even aggression. And definitely, I get this from him. Even though he's so stoic and he looks like he's not, being defiant or anything. He's not. It's not so glaring. I feel like he has like a hidden sarcasm, and that's why he shows the signs of aggressions through the chin jut, because the chin jut is not something you can help. It's something that he is just doing because that's what his limbic system does. Then on the next one, this is when they reference Colin, his nephew. Okay, Alan Jackson here is going to ask, you wouldn't have gotten to the house until 12:15, so why didn't you say your nephew Colin was there? So when he says the name Colin, his face is gonna go to this first picture here. Like he's gonna completely bite his cheeks, do a chin jut, do the little disappearing lips, like he does disappearing lips, he does the cheek biting again, he does the tongue to the side, and then he does this other face. All of that happens when they're talking about his nephew Colin, which seems to me that like he's disapproving of Colin some way, kind of like, oh, that stupid brat, that kid, causing all this trouble. Which I'm not saying, don't read into that. I'm not trying to say Colin did anything wrong. I don't know. But that's the face that Brian Albert is giving me right now. It's like that freaking kid, that freaking kid, because his face has changed when the attorney is asking him about Colin. So again, the Colin subject is going to be right after that Colin subject ends, right, is when our bodies usually, right after the uncomfortable question, the uncomfortable subject is when our bodies usually make all the micro expressions. And these are the micro expressions that Brian Albert is making right after that Colin subject is over. Avoidance, lowering the head, indicating defiance and exhaustion, frustration, anxiety. He does this face like right where the question mark is, I don't know how to make this face, but it's kind of like, I don't know. I don't want to make it. Then he has all of this going on at the bottom. Tongue jut, tongue to the side, cleaning the corners of the mouth, cleaning the corners of the mouth. And then he has the last face, which is like that stupid kid again, chewing or biting lips. Chewing or biting lips, signal nervousness, anxiety, stress. He does the lip, cleaning the corners of the mouth here, signals is like a pacifying because of stress, right? And the tongue jut is getting away with something. So why is he stressed? Why does the subject of Colin brings him so much stress, brings him so many facial expressions? I don't know, but that's what happened to his face. You can go back and watch. And then, I would have put it here, but apparently I don't know where it is, the video. So now let me just read some of the comments because I'm going to stop here today, okay, on the McAlberts because there's a lot. Now, coming next, Mr. Colin Albert is going to get a video all for himself because he has so much going on. I got all kinds of feelings when I watched Colin Albert for the first time. And here are some of the faces that Colin, is going to gift us with. I'm going to work on the part 2 of the Alberts and release or either do a live again for Colin Albert. Let me know what you guys think. And let me just go through some of these wonderful comments before we close today because I gotta eat and stuff, and I'm so grateful that you guys are here. Let me see. I'm going to start here with Coca. She says, no show under John. If that was true, doesn't mean any particular thing. It's consistent with him being there early that night with someone removing the snow or with him being warm enough to melt it. Okay. Then we have True Crime says, sassy, are they dog bites? Then we got Jeff Williams, Coca, meaning he was there before the snow started when Karen's vehicle was there. So I think Karen's vehicle was there. What time was Karen's vehicle there? Do you guys remember? I'm trying to make it all make sense. But anyways, here we have Sassy Pants. Bev's brother, the judge, Bev, may have helped Chris out of a serious repercussions when he unveiled the Hungarian student. But they can't get the Alberts out of this one. Yeah, I've heard rumors for sure. And I mean, they asked the judge to be recused and she said no. And another thing on the judge, okay, I'm actually working a little judge compilation and I don't know the judge. I don't have any facts. I'm just saying my observations. I watched a few videos that were pre-trial and she was so rude to the defense attorneys. Like she would be cutting them off. She would be like in the middle of Yannetti talking, she would cut them off. And much worse than what we're talking about today. Because I believe that in the beginning of the trial, she was a little rude, but then she started being more proper. And that's how I feel like she's being now. She's being more proper. And I believe maybe it could be because of all the attention she's getting, right? Or the trial is getting. And I just think it's crazy that they had a whole motion for her to be removed and she said no. And that's frustrating that our justice system can be like that when there is a clear conflict of interest that somebody in her family may have been involved with somebody in this trial, that she gets to say no, I'm not recusing myself. So here we have Cabeza Block. I think he did it in many circumstances. Jay Lovelack, this isn't Higgins, it's Brian Albert. Did I say Higgins? I apologize if I said Higgins. I know that's Brian Albert, I think. Are you talking to me? Are you talking to somebody in the chat? I'm so confused. True Crime, yes, the family was already involved in a cover-up. Sassy Pants, the snow didn't begin to accumulate here until after 7 a.m., so no snow underneath is a moot point. I know you guys are like arguing a little bit between all of you, but I want to read all these last comments because it's so awesome to have you here. Coca saying the McAlbert's debate strategy. Repeat, 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 repeat. Then we have Christine. I kept waiting for BA to say, AJ, you can't handle the truth, right? Then we have, I can't believe this case was brought. It's crazy town so far. We'll see if more will be reviewed this week coming up. Sassy Pants Lynn, they absolutely look alike. Also in unedited photos, you can see the puncture marks around his elbow that also resembles a paw print. I did see, I don't think it was introduced in the trial yet, but I did see a picture of Mr. John O'Keefe's arm, and it definitely looked like scratch marks, like from an animal. So we'll see if that's going to be brought in. Then we have then he could have been put there around 2:30 a.m. It is weird that nobody saw him, right? I hear both sides, right? I've heard that the reason why people didn't see him is because they were leaving the house straight out, and that nobody was looking for anything straight out, and the body was all the way where the flagpole is. I don't know. But also, it is strange that all these people were going in and out and being picked up, and like the truck is here, the Jeep is here, the SUV is here, everybody's here. People are looking out of the window. All of this is going on. Nobody sees anything. Nobody hears anything. A car hitting a person, a noise, nothing. So that is very, very strange. It would make sense if something had happened after 2 a.m. because in that case, they sent the McCabe's daughter, I forgot her name. They sent her away. Colin was away. Everybody was like, all the kids were away. And wait, did I miss Brian Jr.? Because I did have a slide for Brian Jr. I wanted to go over real quick. Anyways, let's see where we are. Let's see where we're at with the comments. This live is a mess. It's my first time. It's a live mess, and I can't hide it because it's live, so I can't record and pause and record, and that's the fun of it because we're all humans and we make mistakes. So I do want to go over the Brian Albert because I really wanted to say these things about Brian Albert. I just gotta find where his slide was after Brian Albert Jr. Brian Albert Jr. I really want to show you guys this slide, unless it didn't go. So here's the butt call. Hey, Brian, I called you back. Let's see what else. This is the face, did you and Brian Higgins agree with each other that you would both get rid of your phones? So they made that face. I don't know why my slide's like not flowing. Flow slide. Okay, Brian Albert again, and then Brian Albert Jr. is coming up. It's real quick, guys. Okay, here's what I wanted to show you. Look how cute. I worked so hard on this, and I wanted to show you this. So a lot of people are saying that Brian Albert Jr. was at the house, right, when they arrived. He was sitting there with two girls, one on each side. So here I have Sarah, and here I have Julie. On top, I have Colin, not invited because Colin was not invited to Brian Albert Jr.'s birthday, but he saw it on Snapchat, and he was like, let me stop by my cousin's house. I'm just kidding. These are just things that we heard, right? And Brian Albert Jr., I feel for him. Because he says things like, I didn't want to look outside because I am a highly anxious person. This would bring me anxiety. I was just not comfortable. I'm uncomfortable in stressful situations. And I get that. I'm very uncomfortable going outside into the world and being in stressful situations. I believe he does have a lot of anxiety, more than I do, but I can definitely relate with that, being uncomfortable, in certain situations, in certain surroundings. He did show that he was pretty angry about all the attention his family is getting. I don't like to be focusing on the young adults in this trial unless something is proven and we see some involvement of them. I try to lay off of them. The only things that I saw here, I have just a few notes about his testimony. He was an interview for 18 months. He says that between 12:05 a.m. and 12:10 a.m. the parents arrived, that Colin had left before the parents arrived, that he looked out of the window twice that night, and that he saw a truck and an SUV. The second time he looked, the truck was no longer there. His father goes upstairs after Higgins leaves. Colin had already left at that point. He talks about the harassment, talks about tire tracks, but no, did not see a body. At one point, he does look at the jury, but I think he's just so nervous that with him, he did all of the things. He did the tongue jut, he did the lip purse, he did the looking at the jury. But with him, he's so nervous that I don't feel comfortable putting a meaning into his reactions. It wasn't like his father or Chris Albert who were being combative and who were being sarcastic. So with him, that's all that I did pretty much. This slide here, just to understand a little bit where and what, and you know what I mean? Like, what is even going on is this. So this is the house. This is what Brian Albert Jr. was describing in his testimony. If it makes any sense, I'm going to help you guys to look at this, okay? On the top left, we have Brian Albert saying, "Want to fool around" to his wife, and we got Chloe, because the three of them were in the bedroom. And remember, he was fooling around, then there was a butt call. 12:10 a.m. is when somebody arrives, right? Apparently 12:10 a.m. is when the parents arrive. Then Brian Jr. did see tire tracks. I don't know what time they see the tire tracks. But then what Brian Jr. says he saw was a Karen SUV facing the flagpole. And then we also had the truck, which was one of the girls' brother that went to pick her up. And she said, "No, never mind, bro. I'm leaving." Then, let me see here. Then we get to Caitlin. I did get to Caitlin too. I did get to Caitlin on this slide before we end the night. Caitlin, right? Her name? Caitlin Albert? Caitlin Albert, to me, was one of the most straightforward witnesses. She was like looking, like her body language is like forward. She's looking at the attorney, trying to understand what he's saying. She's answering the questions to the best of her ability. She's not trying to hide anything. When she talks about Katie, the firefighter, right, the infamous firefighter, here are some of the faces. On the first top face is the beginning when she's being asked, and she says yes. Her face forward, looking directly at the attorney, nodding yes. So her whole body is speaking the same language, right? When she says, "I did not invite Katie," the second picture, "I did not invite Katie," she's shaking her head no, coinciding with the phrase. And look at her. Her eyebrows are raised. Her forehead is frowned. It's kind of like she's saying, no, like I would never invite Katie. Then when Yannetti says, "In fact, you don't like her very much," correct? She looks at Lolly right away. "Lolly, do I have to answer that?" Then she does this pursed lips here, which is a classic sign of anger when it's suppressed. When she's asked this question, right, "If you don't like Katie very much," then she says, look at her face, "I am not friends with Katie." She almost looks like she's scared. Then at the end, she does a little bit of the puckering lips, which is disagreement, anger. And there was another thing. She kind of does like a little kiss almost. Yeah, at the end, the last picture is like a puckering the lips, like I'm not friends with Katie. Kind of like an A. I don't know. I don't know what's going on between Caitlin and Katie, but definitely they don't seem to be friends. But she was very straightforward in answering those questions. Now, her testimony here. She was asked, I believe she left at 1:45 a.m. She was asked, "You saw nothing unusual." Then we have her questions being, "Did you see a baseball cap?" No. "Did you see a black sneaker?" No. "Did you see any tail light pieces?" No. "Did you see a 6-foot man?" And then she looks at Lolly. "I did not." So again, the first picture here on the top is from the day before. She's looking very straightforward just to form a baseline for her. Now, on each question, we're going to look at her body language. So when he says, did you see a sneaker? She's looking at the left side, which could suggest she's trying to remember a fact. You know, maybe she did go out and didn't see anything, having visual thoughts. When he asks, did you see a 6-foot man? She immediately looks at Lolly. Then you have her middle face here where she's looking at the judge and says, I did not. Right after she said, I did not. Her cheeks are pulled and linked with pursed lips, indicating disapproval. And on top, the big picture here is when he said, you saw nothing unusual, and that was her face. So very interesting. Now we get to the slide where this is Caitlin's testimony, right? We saw her brother's testimony of the house, and now her memory of the house. These are her faces here on the top left. When the attorney said, did you bring Chloe with you at 1:40 a.m.? She said no, but look at her pursed lips. They're so evident. It's like, and she's like really big on the fourth one. It's really big lip compression. It's kind of like when, if I were to put like a zipper, you know, don't speak about this subject. I won't. When she's talking about the dog here, did you bring Chloe with you at 1:45 a.m. when Tristan picked you up? No, lip compression. So she left at 1:45 a.m. She left from the front door. And then Tristan, her boyfriend of 8 years, who has not proposed, by the way, who says she's height maintenance, was here. And she didn't see anything. She didn't see anything either. But she definitely had a big lip compression here. Jeff Williams, she had lip balm on her lips. Probably, but that was a big lip compression, Jeff. It looks like painting her eyes too. I do believe so. I don't know if it's just because they're talking about the dog, and a dog loss could be painful in a way that I couldn't describe. God forbid, you know. But absolutely, it's really strange that that's how her body reacts. And always remembering, you know, it's not about one thing we catch in body language. It's about the whole, the cluster. So here we're going to talk about lip compression and stress. And this is straight from the What Everybody Is Saying book. Let me read this to you guys because it's very interesting. It says here, when the lips disappear, when there's usually stress or anxiety driving this behavior. Some body behaviors are considered universal because they are exhibited similarly by most people. For instance, when people press their lips together in a manner that seems to make them disappear, it is a clear and common sign that they are troubled and something is wrong. When we press our lips together, it is as if the limbic brain is telling us to shut down and not allow anything into our bodies, because at this moment we are consumed with serious issues. Lip compression is very indicative of true negative sentiment that manifests quite vividly in real time. It is a clear sign that a person is troubled and something is wrong. It is rarely, if ever, has a positive connotation. This does not mean the person is being deceptive. It just means that they are stressed at this moment. So I thought that was very interesting because her lip compression here is so evident, you know, and they're talking about the dog, they're talking about Chloe. So now we're gonna end here. I was like, where are the slides of all the Alberts? Because I wanted to make all the Alberts in one video, and it's a long video, over 2 hours. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I thank you so much for your input, your comments, your support. It really does mean a lot to me. I could not include Colin Albert in this video because I would take forever, but I am going to work on a video just for him. So thank you, everybody, for everything and for all your support so far. I'll see you guys next time. Stay in the comments, have fun, have a great evening. Be kind to each other. We don't have all the answers, okay? Thank you so much and have a great evening. Bye-bye, guys.